Hey folks, welcome again to another Battle Report. It's Lord of the Rings again, and it's the third and final game of the Kirton Games tournament. This game, my last alliance, Elves and Numenor, are up against the denizens of Moria, led by a Balrog. The mission we're playing is to capture the objective in the centre, and the one we carry off, I think it's like Heirloom or something like that it's called. This is also into the, I think, second turn we're on. I've pushed forwards. My whole objective for this game, I mean, everything relies on that one objective. That's where all the victory points are coming from. So I'm just going to go through it and then spend the rest of my army in just trying to hold up the Balrog and that, pin it down, and hopefully try and escape. And if I get off the opponent's table edge, that would be great. If not, no worries. I get 5 points just for being in their half. So my opponent has here is a Balrog and some goblins alongside him. In the middle there behind, there's also a goblin captain leading some more goblins. Right at the back there are 3 Warg marauders. And on the left hand side there's a dweller and more goblins and Groblog, who's leading this horde of goblins. So with the centre of the table we have this large building in it. My idea was to get into the building as quick as I can and then form some walls out just to reduce the effect of their numbers. They'll be fighting on a small frontage. I've got banners in both war bands, so I should be winning there because I've got a higher fight on both sides. With the Balrog, he's staying quite slow. Unfortunately, he hasn't got a goblin captain with him. The goblin captain's gone round to that middle section there. He's hiding at the back. He could have marched just to help the Balrog move up, which he hadn't, which was kind of lucky for me because obviously my guys with the named characters, I don't have any march in my side of the force. So I'm just going to move up and then form a barrier around the ring, and if I can, try and get away with it. As with the way with this tournament so far, Lady Luck smiled at me and I managed to pick up the heirloom on the first try. Other than that, you can see the other flanks are going to get stuck into the fight. They've tried to move into the building to contest. I can now surround, and also got a Lendl there to throw in as well. In the first round of combat, it was a costly one for the goblins. I've managed to knock out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think 3 of those was Lendl himself. Taking on 2 heroic, moving up and killing off the support of this one goblin down the bottom there that seemed to have won his fight. So this is how it's looking now. As you see, I've left a couple of Numenorians at the back there just to try and stop that dweller coming around. Other than that, I'm quite happy with how things are looking. My archer's trying to shoot the wargs. Not doing very well, I seem to be missing, but his shooting's doing nothing back to me. So here is possibly the mistake that really cost my opponent. He charges the 3 wargs into my elf line. With that threat in there, I surrounded him with all my elves, passing the terror test to charge them, because for some reason, when you have goblins on wargs, they then cause terror. Excuse me. My archers move up, I throw some into combat that I can, and as you can see, some are staying back just a little way onto the right hand side, because I've thrown Gilgalad here into the centre, and will be calling heroic combat. When I kill them off, they'll then try and surround the next batch of them, get rid of them. And also the ring bearer or heirloom bearer is amongst that lot, in which case I'll use that heroic move just to move further away. On the left hand side, you see the dweller's gone in, taking on the troops, just holding him there. That's all they're designed to do, while my rest of the Numenorians mop up the rest of the goblins there. This fight sort of works. I managed to kill off the 2 Warg marauders, including everything on it. That's the only downside with Warg marauders. They're a real nightmare for the fact that even if you kill, you've got to kill all 3 on the actual warg, and you've got to kill warg as well. The amount of times I've managed to call heroic combat and killed the rider, and then the warg passes its courage test to stay, and it really bugs me. But here I actually managed to kill him off, ran round and managed to kill the other one off. The other warg actually won its round of combat, and managed to kill 2 elves off. These guys are quite brutal. I mean, they're whopping out, 3 or 4 attacks? I think it's 3 attacks, 4 on the charge. So yeah, that's not bad for a goblin, really. On my left, things go pretty much as I predict. The dweller kills off one of my Numenorians. So I'm just there holding him until Elendil's free. These dwellers have come in at fight 7, but they're only strength and defense 5. If I can get Elendil in there, win a fight, he will chop them up pretty easy. On the top there, Elendil just goes in and kills off a couple more goblins, and the Numenorians win whichever fights they can, pushing the goblins out of that section. I shall soon make a counterattack for them. So at the end of the round, that's how things are looking. Groblog, by the way, it's on the far left-hand side. He's swinging around with the Dweller. So I'm just chucking my Men of Numenor in. If I can win the fight, I mean, the Dweller's got, what, 3 attacks, maybe 4 attacks. All I have to do is win the fight and drive it back, and I've got a good chance of killing the damn thing outright. I say it's only defense 5 with 3 wounds. So I don't mind holding him up there just for as long as I can. And Elendil's just gone charging in to mop up as many goblins as he can. He's taken on, what, 6 there. Obviously only able to kill 3. And my Numenorians have just gone to mop up the guys that got in. Once they're killed off, I can run through them with the rest of them. On the side, things are a bit more tricky. I'm trying to pin the Balrog in place without too many elves. Basically, what I'm trying to do is chuck one elf in and then space some elves around him so he can't move. The Balrog actually gets a free heroic move, which actually makes him quite aggressive. So I'm doing the best I can just to finish up these Warg Marauders, and then I have Gil-galad to throw against him, where it's a pretty even match. I think the Balrog is actually fight 10 with the 4 attacks, but if I can just put enough number on him, I should be able to win a couple going through. Over here, my poor Numenorians that are trying to hold this chap in place is struggling, but you know, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, holding that thing up and giving my chance to the guy with the ring or heirloom to get away. Elendil ends up killing 2 of the chaps he was fighting. So it wasn't 6, it was 4 because the other 2 Numenorians here joined in. So he killed 2 and then moved up again and killed another 2. So you've got 4 goblins in this round. 1 that's trapped down here, so there's 5 goblins in total. So that was a good run round. Over here, things are starting to get messy. Managed to kill off the Warg Rider's Warg. One of the goblins went down with it. And the Balrog, I think I haven't marked it up. I'm pretty sure he killed the 2 opponents. I know he actually managed to win a couple of combats against the damn thing, but I don't think that was yet. So overall, as you can see, we're looking like this. If you look down on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see a 2-handed swordsman, but protected by 2 both. He's the guy carrying the heirloom. I'm going to swing him up through the trees now and start heading towards the opponent's half. I think this game ends on a 1 or a 2 after one of the forces are broken. So I think the goblins are actually getting surprisingly close, considering they start with so many. So I threw in everything I can where I can. Gil-galad goes up against the Balrog, trying to not finish him off, but, you know, surround him enough with all the fights there. I finish off the goblins that are in front of it, and the rest of the goblins are coming to try and support the Balrog, where I'm trying to surround them. On the left-hand side, I'm trying to mop up with the Numenorians, and Elendil makes his way up from that top breach down to the bottom breach to take one-on-one against the Dweller. It'll be great if he does all right with that. So surprising my opponent, I actually go with heroic combat, even though it's a bit of a risk considering, you know, we're both fight 7, but I have more attacks there. And with my charging Elendil, he went through with 4 attacks, ruined the damn thing on 4s, kills it, then overruns into Groblog and kills him with the help of Spearman as well. So a Groblog and a Dweller in 1 round of combat, that's pretty good for Elendil. I don't know why this one's ended up upside down, which is very odd because I've been through and cleared them all up. This is just basically the Numenorians at that other breach, finishing off the goblins that were there. I actually win the round of combat here and against the Balrog, and I'll do some wounds on it, surprisingly enough. By the end of the game, I actually managed to get it down to 4 wounds left. The goblins that outnumber my elves and trapping them, they're killing them off. But, you know, it all means nothing now. All I have to do is get the objective off the enemy's table edge. So as you can see, things are looking pretty bare for the goblins. My army's not broken yet. They are broken, so they're going to be relying on the low carriage. So Elendil and the Numenorians are easily going to mop up the goblins here. At the top, again, the Numenorians will mop up the goblins. The big problem we got here is with the goblins supporting the Balrog. Now, I'm not so easily surrounding him and trapping him and getting the multiple attacks that I want, but I have Gil-galad there, and I'm happy to throw him into fight. So, as you can updates here for the coming combats. Gilgalad actually finished off another goblin, just trying to get their numbers down so I can surround them. The Numenorians have come around the top there to help try and take out this goblin captain that's here. As the rest of the goblins have been pretty well mopped up by the elves, and the Balrog himself is struggling with being surrounded with so many elves. So as the rest of the Numenorians go over to support the elves, Elendil and his spearman, who's just running around here, they finish and mop up the rest of the goblins here. I think he goes in and kills 2 of them. The other 2 fail their courage and flee anyway, and then he overruns into the one that this spearman was fighting to kill him off. So that was another 3 goblins this round. So over on the far side, I'm trying desperately to get the item off, but this is as far as they get. Probably another 2 turns I needed before I can get them off, but the game ended there, and they managed to get into the opponent's table edge, and so I was pretty happy with that. And this is the final picture of the game. As you can see, I've got more Numenorians coming around the flank there. The Balrog's pretty much fighting on his own. Most of the other goblins have been mopped up. The captain managed to survive to the end, and the Balrog's there without a way to escape. So I managed to get a good amount of points for this. I think I got 5 points for enemy, breaking the opponent, and I think there was a bonus one for not being broken. So yeah, it was a really good, hard fight. It was pure luck that I managed to get that heirloom straight away. Once that was done, he then charged in his wargs, which also got rid of his speed. So that left my heirloom to be run off quite safely. The only thing that could get me was the Dweller then, because that's the other thing that's got fast move. But yet again, I've managed to take him out with Elendil. So with that win, it was 3 wins for the tournament, and I actually won this tournament. This is the first, I don't know what I've done now, four tournaments there at Kirton Games, and I've actually managed to win one. I was pretty chuffed, but I'll be honest, due to the type of the games they were, it was pure luck. The first one with Elendil holding on and me contesting that top objective. The second one was probably the only one I felt pretty confident at, because I knew exactly what would happen. And this one here, purely because that first round I picked it up and I could break away from it. If he had just put his captain with his Balrog and got a march off on the first turn, there's a good chance he would have got there before me. That would have been scary, because then I would have had to fight to the Balrog for the objective, which is not so easy. But I did get it down to 4 wounds. Gilgalad did me proud. In fact, both heroes really happy with. It's definitely a win big or lose big with these heroes, and since they survived all their fights, it was a win big. The fact that they got high fight is fantastic. The fact they get their +1 to wound is fantastic. Downside is 1 fate, so it tends to mean if I am surrounded, they'll die, and that'll be it. As long as I don't lose a fight against many, I should be okay. I mean, Gilgalad actually lost a fight against the Balrog, and I think I was down to 1 wound left fighting the Balrog. But as I say, this scenario wasn't about that, so it didn't matter to me. It was all about the objective. It's such a harsh swing in this game. So yeah, I was really happy. What changes for the next one? They've got another one in November. I don't know if I'll do that one yet. It's quite a lot of tournaments to go to. I don't mind doing like maybe 4 months ago. I've got my own club and my own tournaments that we like to run. But I'll see how it goes. But as I say, the things I want to change, the spearmen for my elves were fantastic. That shield, giving them defense 6, is really good against low infantry. If I can drop maybe an elf and get some shields on my elves to get some conversions going, having those defense 6 elves, I mean, I wouldn't mind actually getting some elf spearmen in as well. That would be really good. That defense 6 is, I'd say, good against the regular infantry. Happy with my bowman. The other thing is I want to get Gilgalad mounted. I know I'll probably end up throwing him away and he'll die in combat somewhere, but Elendil is so fantastic mounted. Gilgalad has to be, really. If I can get a combination charge with both of them on something, that would just be fantastic. They should be able to run most things over. Take out. They'll take out any foot hero. But yeah, other than that, I'm quite happy with this list. It was nice to have a lot of bodies. I mean, I ended up with like 36 or so. That was really good, even though I got 2 quite killy heroes. But definitely man of the tournament as Elendil. He put the work in. Game against the Iron Hills Dwarves, he just held on long enough, managed to get Dane down to using up all his fate, and just hanging in there till the bitter end. And the game against the Khazad Dwarves, he just went through the dwarf front line with shields, and was that 2 or 3 rounds he was killing like 4 dwarves, which is, 8-12 dwarves in a couple of turns is a big drop off for a dwarf player. Gilgalad was good. He's always reliable. At Fight 9, you can throw him into fights, give him some boys to help him. As I say, in the future, if he was mounted, I say the advantage of him not being mounted is I don't tend to throw him anywhere stupid. He also has to stay with his archers to give me that reroll bonus. But other than that, I think, if he was mounted, Elendil will have some competition. Though again, Elendil's that strength 5 with a 2-handed weapon really does help. But we'll see in the future. As I say, it was a really good tournament. I always say, if you can get to Kirton Games, I think they've got another one now in November coming up. They're playing at 7:50 now. I always does say, I think the 3 or 4 previous ones have been a 500-point ones. So it's good to see some of the games out. The mixture of different players and stuff out there is really good. So it's well worth giving it a go. If you can get onto Kirton Games, that's in Crediton in Devon. Well worth a try. It's only day tournaments as well, and the ticket prices are pretty fair, and they have the prizes and stuff. So hopefully I shall see you on the next one, and maybe another tournament. We'll see about it. Take care of them.